Hey there! Last time you saw me, I was on this channel, Hey there! Last time you saw me, I was probably on this channel, talking about either YouTube and its various issues and flaws and whatnot, or maybe I was pitching an idea, which I still think is a good idea, but it didn't seem to get a lot of love from the audience, about doing Filipino movie reviews. So, today I wanted to do something a little bit different. May become a recurring thing. I'd kind of like for it to become a recurring thing. So here's the idea. And I'll tell you where this idea came from later on in the video. But essentially, taking something that I know nothing about, spending, so I've given myself a grand total of 4 hours per topic to do some research on. And then trying to condense that down into something that hopefully is helpful to other people. I don't have a name for this yet. I didn't do all that legwork. But okay. So based on the title, you probably already know what the video is, so I'm not gonna skirt around it. So yeah, this is about Hillary and her emails. I know that there was, before walking into this, I knew that there was something having to do with Hillary and her emails or something, and I also knew that a lot of sort of right-wing pundit type people, as well as a lot of just people that I know in general who happen to be on the American spectrum on the right, almost use this as A, a gotcha, B, a buzzword, and C, kind of like a boogeyman, if I will. I knew nothing about it as outside of hearing about it on the periphery. So I decided to do a little bit of research, find out what the hell is going on here, and sort of go from there. I need to go ahead and reveal my own political bias. I consider myself to be center-leftish, and what I mean by that is I am not part of the crowd who believes that we need safe spaces in all things. I am not part of the crowd who is pushing for like full-blown like socialism and blah blah blah. Mainly because I don't even know how that would work, how the people would own the means of production. That makes no sense, at least from moving from what the system we have now to that. Anyway, so I'm not that crowd, alright? I am part of the crowd who's like, come on, let's try to be sensible about this. Let's not use needless buzzwords. Let's not try to speak in sound bites and, gotchas and all that crap. This right here is me trying to have a conversation. So if you're going to call me a liberal snowflake, fine, go ahead and do that. I can't really stop you. But do keep in mind that kind of, I am asking my audience. I've limited the research on this for a reason, because I want to continue that discussion. I am not the only one who has questions about this. I am not the only one needing a little bit more information. And sort of crowdsourcing that, I think is a very healthy thing to do. Having an open conversation and discussion about a lot of things. To my international audience, yes, I am hoping that if this becomes a thing, I can do some topics having to do with Southeast Asia and a lot of things that Americans don't always understand fully or at all. So, yeah. So, I apologize to my international audience who may not give a flying flip about this. Alright. So, open the book. I got cute puppies. So let's go ahead and open the book and let's sort of go through this little bit by little bit. And my notes, as you can tell, are I'm not gonna show it for very long because I don't want you pausing it. And I actually made a point to write it in the absolute worst handwriting I could because I knew I would show it. All right, Hillary's emails. At first I was like, okay, what is even what even is? So I made a point to do a Google search about, and this is the wording I used: why are Hillary's emails a big deal? Or why do Hillary's emails matter? And I got nothing. Zip, zilch, zero, nada. Nada. Nothing. So I ended up having to do a lot of other searches. I'm like, oh, this is okay. All right. So, sort of giving some background. So while Hillary Clinton was Hillary of State. I also probably should go ahead and say this. When it came to the election of 2016, Hillary was not my gal. Trump was also not my guy. So just letting you know, I really kind of wish that we would have had somebody else to run. And we'll get into why later. I don't want to. I've been filming now for about 6 minutes, and I don't want to. I don't want to continue on with all the explainers. But stick around till the end, and I'll go over a little bit of why Hillary wasn't my gal and Trump wasn't my guy. All right. So moving on. So she was offered, when she was Secretary of State, she was offered a .gov email address, and with that also came access to all of the additional, security stuffages. And to oversimplify for the sake of time, she was like, you know what? Nah, fam, I'm just using my own thing. Which apparently was kind of an issue. So she used her personal email and server, as well as her, and then also Huma Abaddon, which, if you happen to remember the name, Anthony Weiner, that's his wife. If you don't know who Huma Abaddon is, those two are connected. Anyway, so they both used this private email server. Hosted a couple different domains, like clintonemail.com, because, no hacker would ever guess that. I mean, to be fair. So, yeah, that and a few other sort of domains. And I also heard, but I couldn't find definitive evidence, that it was the same email server used by President Clinton. Don't know, that's Hillary's husband, dude. Don't know if that means at the time of his presidency, because if that's the case, that's a problem. That's an old flippin' server to be using. I know a lot of the security in place is software based, but still, that's troubling. Okay, so and the cited reason was for convenience. Part of this sort of goes back to the fact that at the time, and this is long before the 2016 election. This is back when BlackBerries were honestly probably should have been phased out, especially for government work. But similar to how sort of to bring this into modern times, there have been reports that our current president prefers to use his own unsecured, I believe it's an iPhone or whatever, which has some people have said is an issue. She was all about that BlackBerry life. I mean, it is what it is. I do find it interesting, and this will feed back into why Hillary wasn't my gal. She was all like, yeah, no, I don't really want to learn the new technology, so I'm just going to do the insecure thing. Of course, I know that wasn't what was said, but again, oversimplifying, hopefully for the sake of entertainment. Okay, so yeah, doing that was against protocol and security. Now, against protocol doesn't necessarily mean against the law. Now there are some things that may have possibly been against the law and whatnot, and we'll kind of get into those. But simply just using a server other than the one provided by the government or whatever, as far as I can tell, was against protocol and security, but not against the law. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know. Comment section down below. Everything I saw, everything I could find, simply just said that it was sort of against the norms of the time. Okay. Alright, so here's why this matters. So, according to the law, the stuff that I could find, government emails, government communications, etc., need to be archived. So, doing this on a personal server or whatever is an issue because archival reasons. Like, in, 20, 30, 50, 80, 90, a billion years, whatever, when someone pulls like a Freedom of Information Act or something like that, they need to be able to get that information. And if if that information is stored on, some computer like this little guy here, that's not going to be good. All right. Let's see here. So, in addition to that, so there was an investigation. Clinton was at one point investigated and completely cleared. And I believe that the quote was that it was something like reckless and, like, again, simplifying, so please don't crucify me, reckless and stupid, but not illegal. Personally, I'm like, I don't like reckless and stupid, or just reckless. Yeah, so not, and I think most places I looked on both sides of the spectrum, and it's so bothering that we have news that's on a spectrum, but that's a discussion for another day. As far as I can tell, everything, everybody pretty much agrees, yeah, shouldn't happen, So let's see here. So investigated and cleared. Let's see here. So we were talking earlier about Anthony Weiner's wife, Huma Abaddon. She used the same server, and this is kind of important because some of the emails that were saved on her machine resurfaced right before the 2016 election, and some people say that reopening of the investigation may have cost her the election. Whether that's true or not, look, that's for somebody else to flip and debate, not me. I don't know. I'm just a guy doing 4 hours worth of research and trying to learn a little bit about what's going on in our world. All right. So anyway, let's see here. So now. I saw a lot of different numbers being thrown around by different reports and different agencies, and I wasn't really able to see like a pattern, but the number that came up the most was that there were 30,000 emails deleted. Now that claim varies a lot based on where you're reading, and I guess the time that you're reading it. Again, some of this stuff goes back like 4 years at this point. Some of it 2 years. So maybe stuff changed, maybe the information changed. I don't know. Now, the investigation that we mentioned earlier did not find any cover-up or misleads. Neither did when they reopened the investigation, which was just a few days before that election that we mentioned earlier. Now, when I say cover-up, I'm talking about like a coordinated effort to cover something up. No cloak and dagger and all that stuff. And that the did not find any cover-up or misleads is a direct quote from the investigation. All right, so when the emails, and this is something I find interesting, the emails that were moved from Clinton's private server, and then needed to be cataloged, categorized, whatever. It's interesting that law required paper copies to be supplied. Why? But okay, so the law required that paper copies be supplied to to one governmental office. I forget which one, and unfortunately I didn't make a note. Now, the Justice Department required the digital copies. And that's important because you ever notice, for instance, how when you take a picture with your phone or something, and you upload it to Instagram a couple days later, somehow Instagram knows where that picture was taken, or you put it on your computer and the date that it was created is often the date you took it and not the day you put it on your machine. Well, that's using something called metadata or metadata. And that's super important to preserve for a lot of reasons. So the requirement by that governmental office, who I didn't make a note of, to have paper copies really confuses me because you lose a lot of that metadata. Also, I mean, you just lose convenience. Why would you ever? I know it's probably an old law or something, whatever, but still, that's just wow. Okay. Justice Department received a digital copy. We went over that. The server was provided as well. Now, that's true. And I've heard some people on the left go, oh, well, they provided the server. So, well, that server was maintained for a while by an outside company who, again, I think I neglected to write down. So there is doubt over, some deleted emails, whether they be of personal nature, whether they be of private nature, etc. And because it wasn't preserved or just left in the trash bin or whatever, it causes a lot of people a lot of sort of stress, and they're like, emails. Let's see here. Now, as a guy who's done tech, I know undeleting things can be, if they were deleted properly, bringing them back is darn near impossible. If they were deleted by, like, an old lady who's all like, I'm gonna use my BlackBerry, instead of those, you could get back no issue. But the question is, did this company, did they do some sort of, like, hardcore cleaning? I don't know. All right. Let's see here. So, we already went over this. James Comey reopened the investigation. Now, here's the thing, okay? So, James Comey reopened the investigation, and it became public knowledge 11 days before the election, the 2016 election. Now, it had become public via leaks. Not like this dude held a press conference and he was all like, I want to, get this information, whatever. So, I don't think I've heard people really smack talking James Comey too much. I remember when all this was going on, there were questions about whether he was trying to sway the election, whether this was a political thing. With the benefit of hindsight, like, it looks, based on my research, kind of like he was, essentially just doing his job, right? So if, what is the damage, of, not reopening the investigation, if there was something to be found. And then, so the investigation was reopened. Again, nothing of significant interest was really found. Well, there were some classified documents that were. We'll get into something, but as far as the investigation was found, nothing was of significant interest was found. That was a quote. Nothing of significant interest was found. Okay, so based on that new, so we went over that. Became public via leaks. We went over that. Okay, so this is another number that I've seen in dispute, based on different people reporting it, based on where it was reported, when it was reported, and all. Kind of hard to run down in the limited 4-hour window I gave myself. 3 classified documents were found. I put seat. Why did I put seat? Sent. 3 classified documents were sent when they possibly couldn't have been or shouldn't have been. Now, no, that's not good. I mean, that definitely doesn't sound good. And you know what? Here's unfortunately, we don't, like, as the American public, we don't have the information that we should have on this. Let me give you an example. So, most Americans are aware of the fact that we utilize drones pretty heavily. Technically speaking, any drone related information having to do with our government is classified. So was it like the open secret type classified, or was it like aliens are real and they're keeping it a secret from us classified? Like, we don't have that information. Does that make it better? Maybe not. Maybe. I don't know. Again, like I said, I don't really have a dog in this race, so. Okay. Thousands of work-related emails were found on the server when it was given over to the let's see here, so to the Justice Department, and so thousands of emails were found there that weren't given originally. Okay, like, I'm trying to be as balanced as I can about this. Yeah, that bad. That is very bad. That should have been handed over to begin with. Okay. I'm not going to make that argument. I'm not going to really make an argument at all, other than to say, you know, at least, A, they were preserved, and B, I have no idea how many emails, like, apparently we're talking about thousands of emails. Like, we're talking, you know, apparently like 30,000 were supposedly deleted, depending on what claims you believe. And then, you know, several thousand more were found on a laptop belonging to Huma Abaddon. So, like, I do have to ask myself, yeah, that was my phone, not yours. I do have to ask myself, like, how many emails had to be waded through and through what methods? Like, is there a margin of error that is acceptable? Probably not, no. But looking at this as just like, you know, human time and, you know, effort and whatnot, like, I kind of want to try to be understanding of, you know, like, if the, you know, thousands of work-related emails found on the server, if that's 2,100 completely, you know, whatever emails, like, out of maybe hundreds of thousands, or, you know, in the low, like, 1.1 millions or whatever, like, I have to ask myself, do I care? I mean, I don't, but do I understand why other people do? I mean, I kind of do, I guess. All right, moving on. Let's see here. So there was another quote by the investigation that was opened before the election, that or post that investigation, that Hillary Clinton did fail to preserve, but did not actively destroy any emails. And part of that distinction is apparently when moving over from, like, using a BlackBerry to, like, another device or whatever, you know, the software or some whatever changed, and not everything made the jump from the old to the new software and old to the new server or old whatever to the whatever. I don't again, you know, something was, you know, there was a distinction of failure to preserve, but not intent to destroy. Um, Now, here's something I find interesting. Hillary recently, in a hypothetical, which I don't know if that matters, called for China to get Trump's taxes the same way that he called upon Russia to get her emails. Again, like, it's a lot of political theater. I see, Trump try all these gotcha moments all the time. Um, and like, I see other politicians try it all the time. It's like, I don't know, it's just such political theater. It's a thing that happened and I wanted to document it here. Um, do I like it? No, that's petty nonsense. That's playing, that's playing a game that, that I don't like seeing politicians play. It's petty and it's stupid. Um, but, I mean, that's sort of the world that we live in. Sometimes petty and stupid works. So, it is what it is. Alright, now, here's sort of my last point on this. The emails keep getting brought up as very non sequitur things. Now, not a non sequitur, just simply, I think it's Latin, means does not follow. So a non sequitur would be like if somebody said, "Hey, Anthony, I heard that you have a 12-foot ding dong," and I said, "I can do 5 pull-ups." Point 1 and point 2 have nothing to do with each other. Sometimes it's a way to either distract, change the subject, whatever. So that's a non sequitur. To give another a more relevant example, that would be like me saying, "Oh, well, my shoes are missing," and somebody goes, something, like Hillary's emails. I'm like, the hell? What does this have to do with this? Come on now, help me find my shoes. Okay. I lose my shoes far too often. The point, what I'm trying to bring up is, look, I don't like politics. Doing this was a pain in my rear because I had to wade through stuff I shouldn't have to. I had to wade through the left, I had to wade through the right, and I had to try to find the truth in the middle. And that bothers me because there should not be 2 versions of the truth. Where the truth is, I know what I think. I know where my evidence has led me. Where has your evidence led you? I would like to ask, let me know what you think in the comments section down below. I'm trying, to stay as impartial as possible in this. Maybe my bias has led me somewhere it shouldn't. Maybe it hasn't. I don't know. I do want in the comments, I want an actual discussion. Anything that's not, for the purposes of discussion in the comments, I'm just gonna delete. I'm letting you know that right now. If you call any political candidate Satan or anything similar, that's getting deleted. If if anyone gets compared to Hitler, that's probably getting deleted. I want people to be able to read through these comments and actually learn something. And that also includes, like I said in the beginning, I have my bias, and I have revealed my bias. And hopefully that helps inform you. I am not going, if someone makes great points about the other side of this, I am not going to delete that. I want those comments there, because obviously it's something that I have missed. Alright. I'm going to end this video. I would like to ask that you, in the comment section, or in... I suck at this. The worst part is I'm probably not going to edit this. In the description down below, you will find an Amazon store link. I'm not asking you to buy anything. I am asking you, though, to click on it. I received an email today that if I don't get a couple of visits there, they're going to take away my Amazon store. And I don't really know what I'm going to use it for right now. But I would very much like to not lose it so that I can, go forward and whatnot. In fact, I may edit this video just so I can add something about this to the very beginning of this video. All right. Anyway, I hope this video's been helpful for you. If it has, let me know in the comment section down below. Hope that I've informed you in some way. I hope maybe I can gain a little bit more perspective about this. And when I say this, I don't mean the cute dogs. Till next time, don't forget to like, subscribe, and do all those things that make me absolutely love my job. Or, given the nature of this video, maybe even give me a dislike too. I don't know. And, okay, so I told you in the beginning of this video, and we are now 30 minutes in, why I would tell you why Hillary was not my gal and Trump was not my guy. There are a lot of reasons, but I'm going to give you the broad strokes. Broad strokes. Hillary could not, for the life of her, what's the word I'm looking for? She tried really hard to be hip with the kids. And she failed miserably, which, in and of itself, not a huge deal, except everything that she tried to do with that, it came across very much kind of like how you tell a 5-year-old and they're telling you a story or whatever, and you're like, that's great, okay. It didn't come across as someone who had a vested interest, who had an understanding of it. It kind of just sounded like someone, told her, hey, Pokemon Go is a thing, and she ran with that. Or, hey, emojis are a thing, and she ran with that. I'm sorry. Then maybe that makes me sound shallow, but part of my issue was the fact that I would have really preferred to have had a candidate who understood the modern world we live in. And, the things that I just listed and so much more just led me to believe that she wasn't it. And, the BlackBerry thing is another huge example of the fact that she was not prepared to live in the decade she was living in. And maybe that makes me a bad person. But I'm sorry, I need my leaders to understand the world they live in so that they can help legislate for it. Trump? Why wasn't Trump my guy? Many reasons. But, in brief, I don't like people who divide people. I don't like people, I don't, as a candidate, I don't want someone to tell me, all this kind of person or that kind of person are bad. All this kind of person or that kind of person are, gonna do you harm. By definition, those kind of generalizations are always wrong. Because anytime you say all something are something, there's always going to be something to prove you wrong. And it's yeah. I'm not necessarily even talking about racism. All right, so I know a lot of people are going to jump there and say I'm saying Trump is racist. I'm not even necessarily talking about that. But all journalists are bad. All journalists except for this network are bad. All Democrats want this, etc., etc. I don't know. It very much seemed to me at that time that, Trump was using tactics that a high schooler would use to win class president, to win the presidency. And I mean, hey, it worked. kind of worries me. But I mean, it's the reality we live in. Yeah. I guess that's kind of where I want to leave it. So, anyways, let me know in the comment section down below what you think about all that. And I'm sorry this video had to go on for as long as it did. Till next time, don't forget to like, subscribe, and do all those things to make me love my job. Also, be awesome to yourself and amazing to each other. Bye. No, hit the button. Hit the button. Hit the button.